This is a multi-use item you need in your preps. Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. We talk about a lot of things in the preparedness world, things you need in your preps. Yeah, I get it. We need a lot of things in our preps. I really like multi-use items because if I have one thing, one tool, one item that performs one function, then I only get that one function, that one usefulness of it is limited. If I get items that have multiple uses, better off, right? Because then you cover more bases for what you can do. So what am I talking about today? Today I'm talking about sodium bicarbonate. What's that? That's baking soda. I know. A lot of you are going to turn this video off now because you're like, that's boring. Please don't. Please listen. Please watch. It's not a glamorous topic. I get it. It's not one of those, oh, really cool preps. But it's important. I'm going to list a bunch of items. I didn't even count how many items, how many things I have, uses for sodium bicarbonate, aka baking powder, or baking soda. Sorry, baking soda. It is it's kind of like a salt. It has a lot of sodium in it, so if you're consuming it, beware of that. But what are some of the uses for sodium bicarbonate? Some of these uses are just general everyday life, which is good and very useful. Some of them are more preparedness oriented or may have more application during some kind of survival event. But please stay tuned. This is important and it's cheap. It's easy. We buy these big, huge bags at Costco. 13.5 pounds. We have, I don't even know how many of these things. We probably have 20, 30, 40 of these things around different places. We use them for all kinds of things. Some of the things we use them for, I'll talk about on the list. All right? So what's the first, and this isn't in any order. First use though, baking. It's baking powder, right? Okay. What does it do for your baking? It helps, it's kind of like, it's not a yeast, but it does help things rise. It helps them get that fluffy kind of texture because what it does is it produces CO2 when it's in there and it's breaking down and stuff like that. It produces CO2, which makes little CO2, the little air bubble pockets, you know, so it makes things more fluffy, like in your biscuits or whatever. That's what it does for baking. Mouthwash. You can use it as a mouthwash. I know it's kind of like, oh, that's gross. Yeah, well, it is. But see, in your mouth, there's a lot of bacteria and stuff like that. So what baking soda will do is it increases the pH level of your saliva, which helps kill bacteria. Good thing, right? Even in SHTF, you know, I don't want to have nasty breath because I want my wife to still kiss me. So, hey, that's important. Teeth whitener. Like I said, SHTF scenario, we don't care how white our teeth are. I don't. Maybe you do. But yes, you can use it as a teeth whitener. So a lot of these things are mundane, everyday use applicabilities. And some of them are more applicable to preparedness scenarios. Deodorant, that's a good one. Just mix a little bit in water, make a little paste, put on your underarm, let it dry. What it does is it changes the pH level of the sweat and the glands and everything in that area. And so what it does is it makes it, it mitigates the bacterial growth, and it makes it less acidic. So that's kind of that smell you get when you get body odor, especially from the underarms. It's the acidic smell. So it helps mitigate that, helps lessen that, because you don't want to be running around stinking like nasty, even in an SHTF scenario, especially if your body odor is so bad, if you're out patrolling and some, you know, enemy sneaks by close proximity to you and they smell you. How likely is that? Not very likely, but I'm just saying, you know, come on. Air freshener. A lot of people know about the fact, put a thing of baking soda in your fridge in any location, in your pantry, in your shed, in your, hey, tell you what, fifth wheel or travel trailer, definitely helps keep those, the mold spores down, and in conjunction with the damp rid stuff, the stuff that takes the moisture out of the air, good thing. So that's air freshener. Laundry, we use in our laundry all the time. We put in like a cup full of the laundry detergent, and then we put in a big scoop of this, about a cup of baking soda, and then a bunch of white vinegar, so that it bubbles, and those bubbles help break down stains and dirt and everything like that. It decreases the odors. It does a lot of things. So it's kind of like a laundry booster. It's really good to use in your laundry. So we use a lot of vinegar also for that purpose, as well as apple cider vinegar for drinking and other things. Cleaning the anyway, we're not talking about vinegar right now. Laundry, okay, cleaner. Yeah, so you mix some of this with some baking, or with some baking soda with some vinegar, or with like lemon juice, and you can use it to clean your kitchen, clean your bathroom, stuff like that. Same thing, it cuts down mold, it cuts down bacteria, it reduces odors, and it's a good cleaning substitute if you want to do an all natural cleaner, which we like doing things as natural as possible here. Stain remover. That kind of goes back to that laundry thing. Yeah, I'm looking down. I jotted some notes down to help remind me of things, because there's a lot of stuff. I can't remember it all off the top of my head. So baking soda and vinegar make carbonic acid. And what that does is that's that foaming stuff, and it helps break down stains. So stain remover. Here's a good one. Pesticide remover. It is a very good pesticide remover. Make a little rinse with baking soda and water with your fruit and your vegetables that you get from the store. Works really well. So pesticide remover, that's a good one. Polish metal. And the research I did, they're mainly talking about like silverware, but I think it would probably have applications in other kinds of metal also. And what you do is use some baking soda, some boiling water, and what was the third item? I wrote it down. Oh, vinegar. Boiling water, baking soda, and vinegar. It will, you just drop the stuff in, and pretty much gets rid of any kind of tarnish if you're wanting to clean stuff like that. Another thing, this is preparedness, definitely related. Oil and grease fire extinguisher. Works really well for oil and grease fires. That's basically it may not be exactly the same thing in your oil and grease fire extinguishers, but it's similar. It works very, very well. It is it's very good at putting out oil and grease fires. So it's important to have it in your kitchen for that reason. All right, moving on to weed killer. I need to start doing that. These little weeds that I have popping up around here, there's one right there. That grass right there that I don't want in my nice wood chip looking area. I come out and sprinkle some on that. Don't use it for weeds in like your raised beds around the stuff you're going to eat, because it may damage and or affect those plants also. So, but yeah, anywhere like pathways, walkways, your yard, stuff like that. Yeah, go ahead and use it there. Really good natural weed killer. Mainly because it's high in sodium, so it makes the environment less than optimal for the weeds to grow. Shoe deodorizer. I'm actually using it right now for my 14-year-old boy. Has a pair of boots, and he was wanting to know how we could get rid of some of the odor, because he's like, I wear socks all the time. I change my socks. I wash my, stuff like that, and my boots still stink. Well, yeah, you're a teenager. I mean, that happens. Happens to the best of us. So they're sitting right there. I'm looking at them right now, sitting out in the sun with a bunch of baking soda in each one. I just showed them, shake it around, hold the top, and then shake it all up really good, get it all over the place, so absorb all those odors, and be good to go. So yeah, that we're actually using that for that purpose right now. Treating heartburn. I have GERD, which is a gastrointestinal reflux disorder or something. I don't know. It was that 20 years of the Navy pushing 800 milligrams of Motrin on me, and yeah, so this helps, definitely. Mix some in water. I'm not going to tell you the dosages. You can look that up. But what it does is it helps neutralize the acid, helps neutralize the pH balance, the pH levels. It may not work for all situations, whatever's causing that acid reflux. It may or may not work for those specific reasons that you're dealing with, but it could. But like I said, if you're ingesting it, remind yourself, keep track of the sodium level. You don't want to ingest too much sodium. And I actually didn't write it down, but I know high-performance athletes also use baking soda to increase their performance because of that sodium and the water retention and everything like that. There's a bunch of studies that say, it may help, it may not help. It increases their ability to perform at high output for like another 4 or 5 minutes. I mean, I've read a bunch of different things. So it may or may not help. But anyway, what, baby? Ah, yes. 5-year-old. Oh, man, I love her. Okay. Treating heartburn, yes. Neutralize the acid. Sodium. It may help improve your performance during physical activity. But, do some of your own research yourself. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert on this, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Oh, just kidding. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm in a much better mood. My wife is home and doing much better. So I am feeling much better and in a much better headspace. Anyway, all right. Trash, outhouse, etc. Deodorizer. Okay. If we enter into a long-term SHTF scenario, the garbage truck will not be coming to pick up our garbage, right? No, it won't be. In certain circumstances. Some it might be. But anyway, we're going to have somewhere to put our trash, to put our excrement, our human waste, etc. And if you do it far enough away, it may not be a concern for the smell. But you may have to do like outhouse type thing, closer in. You don't want it way far out where somebody has to go outside your perimeter to go to use the outhouse. So it'll help neutralize the odors and make it a much more pleasant experience for everyone. Also, with that said, is the very, very ugly aspect of SHTF scenario, a long-term hardcore event, is the fact that people will die. That's a fact. So you're going to have to keep up on burial and or a way to take care of the body via other methods, although it's pretty hard to get a fire burning that hot. You can definitely use baking soda to help mitigate some of that smell. Anyway, enough about that. Skin exfoliator. Mix some in water, rub it on your skin and stuff like that. It also, I've heard that it can help remove like little like splinters and stuff like that, maybe because the roughness of it, when you rub it over, it helps, it kind of grabs hold and pulls it out. Not so sure personally that would work, but I've heard that. Let me see. Soothes bug bites. Yeah, it does. Maybe not all, maybe not 100%, but it definitely will help. Same with relieving sunburn. It can also help in some situations with sunburn, which is, both of those are really good for SHTF. Foot soak. After one of those really hard working days of SHTF, you're out there working on your feet all day long, making a nice little hot foot bath with baking soda will just, revive your feet. It's important. Also, use it for unclogging drains. Forget Drano. Pour some of this and some vinegar down your drains, and it will potentially, not in all situations, because Drano doesn't work in all situations, right? Sometimes you got to snake it. But yes, it can help unclog drains. So those are, I don't know how many items, but those are a lot of uses for baking soda. Have a lot of baking soda in your preps. It's very, very inexpensive. Why not? Stockpile it and start using it for these items, especially the natural cleaners, the natural herb or natural weed killers, these kind of things. Toothpaste, mouthwash, stuff like that. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you very much for being here. I hope you watched the whole video, because I know it's not one of those glamorous, glory, hoo-yah, fancy topics that gets all the views. But this is an important item. We talk about real things here because we actually are preppers. As you see, we're doing the things. We are preparing. We're growing our gardens. We're doing all the time. So have a wonderful day, and blessings to you and yours.